Good morning and welcome to two individual executive member decisions. We are going through IMD 2021-14 and 15 this morning. With me for both decisions are John Kaiser, who is the executive member for Finance and Housing, and Nikki Thomas, who is the service manager for assessments. And my name is Callum Wernham. I'm a democratic and electoral services specialist. And with that, if we focus on the first of the two decisions today, which is for the discretionary housing payments, I will just hand over to Nikki just to talk us through the report briefly. So over to you, Nikki.
Thanks, Callum. Sorry, morning both. The first agenda item is for discretionary housing payments. The discretionary housing payments is a scheme that is funded by the DWP, the Department for Work and Pensions, and is used to assist residents on housing benefit or those that receive the housing element of universal credit, and it's to help pay with associated costs with renting or moving. They're not payments of benefit and are outside the housing benefit regulations. There are mainly four areas that are covered, which is the local housing allowance changes, benefit cap and under occupancy, and general DHP awards. This policy has been written to operate for the 21-22 year and will be administered by the assessments team.
Thank you for that, Nikki, for taking us through that report. I will hand now over to John, who will. John, do you have any questions or comments on the report at all?
No. As I understand it, the report is here because it's a process that we have to take on. It's not specified by the DWP. Have we? Is it any different than what we did last year?
John, the only changes that have been made this year are to the year, to the funding, which is specified annually anyway, and changes each year. A couple of changes to names, but otherwise the only other change is that the recommendation to only bring this back to an IMD, individual executive member decision, if there are changes to the actual policy itself, meaning that there's changes to the criteria, the way that we make the awards.
That's fine. I'm content with that.
Brilliant. And with that, I will move to the recommendation, which is, for anyone watching, that is set out on page 6 of the agenda. And I'll just very quickly read it out here. So the recommendation is that the executive member for Finance and Housing approve the policy amendments to be implemented from 11th of May 2021. Amendments are to the financial year, job titles and funding details. And 2, that in addition, agrees that with the proposal that going forward, the policy only needs formal sign-off by the executive member should there be any fundamental changes to the policy or award criteria, excluding those described above. John, are you happy with those recommendations?
Yes, I am.
Brilliant. So if I could just get you to physically sign the paperwork and then pass it down the line. Right, thank you very much. So that decision will be made subject to the standard 5-day call-in period, after which point the decision will effectively go live. So with that, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a second decision that Councillor Kaiser will be making this morning, and that is IMD 2021-15. This is regarding the local welfare provision policy. So once again, if I just very briefly hand over to Nikki, who will just talk everyone through the decision and what is being asked of Councillor Kaiser. So over to you, Nikki.
Thank you. This decision is to ask to continue with the local welfare provision scheme. The council considers it's in the best interest for the community to run this scheme. The scheme focuses on providing assistance for people on low incomes with items such as white goods, such as emergency payments, such as help with utilities. There is other support available within the authority, but this is considered to be addition to those and to help with those on low incomes and with vulnerable residents. I'm asking you to approve the amendments to the policy, the same as before, that they're just amendments to the dates, the financial year, job titles and confirmation of funding, and that you agree going forward that the proposal only needs to be, the policy only needs to be formal sign-off by executive member should there be any fundamental changes to the policy or the award criteria.
Thank you. I think this paper is self-explanatory and I'm content to sign it.
Thank you very much, John. And again, you agree with the second part of that recommendation, including that this won't need to come back unless there are substantial changes. Is that okay?
Yes, I do. Yes, I agree.
Brilliant. So I will once again, just for clarity, just read out the recommendation for anyone watching. It's very similar to the first one. It is agenda page 5 this time of the second agenda. It is that the executive member for finance and housing approve the policy amendments to be implemented from 11th May 2021, amendments to financial year, job title and confirmation of funding details, and 2, agrees with the proposal that going forward, the policy only needs formal sign-off by the executive member should there be any fundamental changes to the policy or award criteria, excluding those described above. So if I can get everyone again just to sign the decision paper and pass it down the line. Thank you very much. As with the first decision, this will be made subject to the standard 5-day call-in period, after which the decision will go live. And with that, I will close this second meeting and thank anyone that has joined us today, and I will say goodbye. So thank you, John. Thank you, Nikki. And I will close the meeting.